If you're a fan of words with a Latinate origin, you might already be aware of arpeggios, and furthermore you probably already know that the word means broken chord, i.e. the notes of a chord played individually. What you may be slightly less clear on is why you should care, and possibly you're struggling to assimilate arpeggios into your playing in a way that sounds natural. If so, I have a couple of ideas for you. Now, despite occasionally getting a bit of a reputation for being something quite complex to use, assimilating arpeggios within scales can actually be a very, very straightforward process and can make for some really memorable guitar solos. So, for our first example, let's say we were going to play over a song in the key of D major, and we might play over a bit of a groove that goes like this. Where we are moving between a D chord and an A chord. And I'd like to point out at this juncture to any copyright holders who might happen to be watching, it's not a cover version, you understand, that's just moving between D and A. So if you think it reminds you of any particular song, you've probably imagined it. So nothing to see here. So if we were going to play over that using a scale, the obvious candidate would be a D major scale, which is made up of the following notes: D, E, F sharp, G, A, B and C sharp. And to play it in a nice high area of the neck, let's start at this D note here, 12th fret on the D string. So we're going to go D, E on the D string, 12, 14. Then on the G string we're going to go 11, 12, 14. There's your F sharp, G, A. And then on the B string we are going to go B, C sharp, D by going 12, 14, 15. So there's the whole scale. We could climb up a little bit further and include E, F sharp, G on the top E string as well, 12, 14, 15. So we've got this slightly extended scale shape that goes like so. Fine, and that'll serve you perfectly well over a track like that. Let's try and use an arpeggio though. You could do this over either chord, but we're going to play an A major arpeggio over the A chord when it occurs. So your timing has to be pretty reasonable. You have to be aware of where you are within the track, but I've made it quite easy for myself. It's only 2 chords, so I've got a fighting chance. Now, an A major arpeggio is the following notes: A, C sharp and E. However, we don't have to superimpose some new and slightly less comfortable shape like that to use it over a track like this. We can find all of those notes within our D major scale. The A chord is diatonic to the key of D major. It's within the key of D major. That means all the notes of an A arpeggio are going to be found within that scale shape. We just need to know where to look. So let's look at that again. We can play the C sharp here at the 14th fret on the B string, the A on the 14th fret, on the G string, and the E at the 14th fret on the D string. So we've got a nice obvious shape there, which may well remind you of an A major chord shape, because that's exactly what it is. It's the same as an A major chord shape, just moved up an octave. So when that A chord occurs in the track, we can zero in on those notes. Let's give that a try. Okay, for a bit of a contrasting example, let's move over to a minor key now. We're going to play in F sharp minor, and we're going to play over this. And again, any similarity it may or may not have with any song you might have heard before is completely coincidental. All this is just a chord sequence moving from F sharp minor to A to E and then back to F sharp minor. So we are completely within the key of F sharp minor. So scale-wise, a lot of guitarists would immediately reach for an F sharp natural minor scale, which is the following notes: F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D and E. And we're going to play this in a nice guitar solo-y area of the neck, quite high up. We're going to start from the F sharp here, 14th fret on the E string, and we're going to climb up 14, 16, 17. That's your F sharp, G sharp, A. Then on the A string, we're going to do the same shape again. 14, 16, 17. There's B, C sharp, D. And then on the D string, we're going to play 14, 16. That's E, F sharp. So there's our first octave. Then on the G string, we're going to go like so. 13, 14, 16. That's G sharp, A, B. Then on the B string, 14, 15, 17. There's C sharp, D, E. And then 14 on the high E string, we're back to F sharp. So we've got... And from that scale shape, I'm going to extract an E major arpeggio to play over the E chord. An E major arpeggio is E, G sharp and B. And as you'll probably be cottoning on by now, you'll have noticed all those notes are within the F sharp natural minor scale. There's a couple of places we can play them. There's a nice little shape here where we play the G sharp 13th fret on the G string, E 14th fret on the D string, and B 14th fret on the A string. And as well as having Park Life by Blur, you have an E major shape just moved up an octave. And again, all those notes are within that scale shape that we just played. We could also play a higher one up here. We could base it around this E here at the 17th fret on the B string. And we'll go up to this G sharp, 16th fret on the E string. And this B here, 16th fret on the G string. So we have what you'll probably recognise as a D major shape, played right the way up here for an E major chord or arpeggio. Alright, let's see how they sound. So there we go, a few relatively quick and painless ways to mix arpeggios with scales. Really hope there was some stuff of interest there to you. If so, please consider liking and subscribing, commenting, all that business. And I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.